Hey y'all, Thursday. My big old fat hairy ass is sitting here on my front porch drinking me some Lipton sweet tea. It's 85 plus degrees outside. Humidity's low. Feels great, nice and sunny. So I got some tomato plants out here. Well, up on the side. I was gonna get my bag and show you, but I ain't gonna worry about it. I got a bag of Epsom salt here. I got my tomato plants down there. I'm gonna dig some holes, put some Epsom salt in the soil, put my plants on top, and I'm gonna go on the back porch. I've been saving eggshells all winter long. I'm gonna break them up and lay them across the dirt, keep the slugs and the other kind of little slimy, crummy things off my tomato plants. I was going to this afternoon go and get me some bags of dirt. Actually, it's manure and compost and humus mixed together. Walmart has it for like about $1.50 a bag. I was going to get about 10 to 20 bags of it. That's all I really need. But I got to fill up that one little crate box out there. I'm going to stick some of my peppers there, or not really peppers, my collard greens and kale. I'm going to stick them around that thing. And, well, then I got 2 containers over there. I got 1 container with tomato seeds growing. So I got 2 containers I need to fill. I got the big container I need to fill. And I did buy me some plastic they're totes. They're about 3.5 foot long, 3.5 to 4 foot long. Let's see if I can do it right. They're about that deep. Actually, about that deep. And I'm going to fill them full of dirt. But before I fill them with dirt, I'm going to take my little small drill bit. I'm going to drill some small holes, like 3 holes, 2 holes, 3 holes, 2 holes like that. Put a wire screen down, put some leaves down, and put some of that compost, humus, and manure mixed together in that. And then basically put my plants on that and put them up here on the porch to utilize more spacage I have up here. I got, all kinds of milk crates stacked up here. I have my plants sitting on top of that before they're in the ground, so I'm going to use that space for my raised bed pieces. Prop them up off the decking, have a gappage for that way. I have water runoff if it rains or whatever, and doesn't fill up the thing. And that way on top of it, the box container doesn't sit flat on the boards, so therefore it doesn't fill up with water as well. So I'm going to do that. Tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, I'm going with my stepdad. I called him on the phone this afternoon. I said, hey, I need about 10 landscape timbers, and I need to know if you can take me up there to get them. He said, yeah, that'd be fine. So I'm gonna get that tomorrow. And once I get my 10 landscape timbers, I'm gonna measure them out how I want to do my pool out here, because I have a rectangle pool. So the back of the pool, well, most people would put like, end to end, and here's a wide spot, or the end part of it's going to go right up here against my decking somewhat, and then it's go lengthways out. And of course, with the landscape timbers, I'm going to have them set a certain way. Therefore, if they're nice and flat, in the middle, and on this end by the decking it comes up like this, that just means I know where I got to shave off to make it down where it gets flat. Of course, I'll have my level and everything else, and then once we get all that set, I'm gonna fill it in with some. I guess I'm gonna go over here in the side lot that doesn't belong to me, and dig up a few good loads of dirt, and we're gonna fill in the gappage of the landscape timbers, and then I'm gonna take me a big old long flat board, and smooth across the top, make it nice and flat, and I'm gonna take my they call it the pool cover, which you put on the ground before you put the pool up. I'll take my pool cover and I'll stick it over here on top of my smooth flattened area with landscape timbers, and then I'll stick my pool up, because my pool is 18 foot wide and it's 18 foot long and 9.5 foot wide. So I'm gonna make my box out here with my landscape timbers roughly 20 foot long and either 11 or 12 foot wide. So therefore I have enough room, everything being nice and center formed. It gives me enough room to play with excess and everything else. And then we set the pool up, and I'll fill it up with some water because it's supposed to rain some this weekend on top of part of next week a little bit. So like I said, I'll get a little bit of water put into it, not a lot, then let God, do His magic, and when He gets His magic done, then whatever's left that hasn't been filled, I'll do the rest. So that's what I'm looking at. Now, sometime this weekend, because I got my gator, it's a full gator, head, tail, feet, legs, everything. He's in the deep freezer right now. I'm going to take him out probably tonight, around midnight-ish, whatever. I'm going to stick him in the refrigerator, let him thaw out some. And then between Friday and Saturday, I'm going to soak him in a brine mix. And then between Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to start cooking him. Well, not really cooking, smoking with bacon and a bunch of other stuff, and stuff his ass as well. So Sunday afternoon, we'll be eating cooked gator. And whenever that time comes, whatever, I'll get some video of him on my gator buddy on the grill and wrapped with bacon and everything else. I went to the store and I bought a bunch of bacon, so that way I know I have enough to, from neck, if it's his head, I'm not gonna wrap his head, I'm just gonna wrap it around his neck, down to his tail, around his legs. He's gonna be covered in bacon, tied up with toothpicks and everything else, and we're gonna have some good eating. And then I got an extra thing of eggs, the grocery store today, so we can make some deviled eggs. Puck is supposed to be bringing over something he's gonna concoct wise, and all else fails, I might have to make some homemade hush puppies or something along that line, so we can have, something else besides, just your standard, deviled eggs and salad and stuff like that. So we'll find out. But I do know one thing: before the sun goes down, I'm gonna be out here digging me some holes in my bed out here, so I can fill up my little holes with some Epsom salt and start putting my tomato plants in so they can grow. Of course, you can't see it, but my elderberry bush over there, from the last time I talked about it, it's already grown an additional at least another foot high. So I mean, it's doing some magic, and I'm gonna have to bend over to do this. Knock on wood that this year I get me some elderberries on it. So if I can, that'd be perfect for me, because I can take some of the seeds off, well, some of the berries, let them dry normally, like natural form, and then I'll over the winter I'll take some of my little seed pot things, like this in here, and I'll put my little seeds in there, a little fertilizer mix, and start seeds inside the house during the winter time, and hopefully by spring of next year, if they produce now, by spring of next year I'll have all kinds of starts of elderberry. Of course, it takes a while for it to go from like little seeds to what it is now, but I'd be tickled pink, because I'll cut out that old that clump of wild cherries, and of course I'll have my walnut tree there still, but I can put in 2, 3, 4, 5, about six clumps over there of elderberry, and I'll have like a mini elderberry plantation. It won't bother me a bit, because there's all kinds of people around here that go out every year searching for it, and if I can grow it, more power to me. And then on top of it, I have a friend of mine that lives over in Bardstown, which is 35-40 minute drive from here. I went to school with him. He got tired of E-Town when he moved out over there in the county. Bardstown, well, I'm gonna get off track some. Bardstown is, they kept all the historic buildings, and they kept it, like it's, as old-timey as possible. Now, E-Town, or Elizabethtown, where I live, I don't live in Elizabethtown. I live in the county, but I have an E-Town address. And Elizabethtown, as I would say, E-Town, they tore out a lot of their old buildings. Like I'm talking like 100-something-year-old building. They tore them out and put in this new stuff. And so you have these new modernized building with all this old stuff, and it looks retarded as hell. And they can't figure out why Bardstown has more tourist type things than E-Town does, because you have this new modern, type looking buildings right next to something that's 150 to 200-year-old, like a 200-year-old building, and they can't figure out why they don't have enough tourism. And plus, over in Bardstown, they got all kinds of antique shops. They have a soda fountain that has not changed since probably 1940, and it has the original seats, everything. And you go in there and get a cherry Coke, and it's fresh on tap, cherry Coke. Well, actually, it's fresh on tap Coca-Cola, and then they take one of those squirt pumps, and they squirt you pump like 2 or 3 little squirt pumps of Marshall Chill and Cherry juice, and then they stick about 4 or 5 Marshall Chill and Cherries in it. I hate crotch rockets. I hate them to death. But anyway, you get those there, or you can get a cherry Coke float with homemade vanilla ice cream there, and they got stuff like that over at Bardstown. Of course, they have all kinds of distilleries there. They have like they got one. It's a Stephen Foster diner, and they cook everything's cooked from scratch. Nothing comes out of a box. Nothing comes out of a can. There's a bunch of old ladies that work in that place, and man, it's to die for. I go in there. I get a big old plate. It's about this big around, and half my plate is a mix of mustard greens and collard greens with bacon, and of course they have like bacon grease and they cook with it too, and I'll salt it with the way I want it, and I'll pour all kinds of vinegar on it, and I can eat probably 3 plates easy of nothing but mustard and collard greens mixed like that. And then they have like country ham and fried catfish, and all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, I go on there, of course. Most of the time I'm good, with my dieting and watching what I eat, until I go there, and then I just eat like a pig. Then I look like those old fat truck drivers you see all the time with their guts hanging out and going, oh, like that, because I go there. If I go there, I eat. I get my money's worth and then some. But yeah, then after that, they got all kinds of dessert trays and stuff like that. Man, I tell you what, it's so damn good. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Hell, the wife's in there cooking right now. I'd rather have that when she's cooking. Now, I did call my dad this afternoon, my real dad, my biological dad, and he knows I'm into guns and stuff like that. I do all kinds of shooting and stuff, range shooting, target shooting, and he was like, yeah, I'm thinking about, for your birthday, going out and getting you like a family season pass at Knob Creek Gun Range, which, 5-10 years ago, well, 10-15 years ago, I'd been all for it. Anymore, truthfully and honestly, the last time I shot a gun was probably in March, and I was at my in-laws, and down there where they live at, they have a big old valley down there in the bottom of their yard, and we shot probably 300 or 400 rounds of 22. And before that, the last time I shot anything was when me and Bug was in the yard last summer shooting a TV screen in one of my videos. And other than that was the last time I've been shooting, other than my 37mm. And I told my dad, I called him on the phone because he was at work, and I said, hey Dad, he goes, yeah. I said, I just want to call and ask you a question. He said, yeah, what's that? I said, don't buy me the yearly pass at Knob Creek. I said, the only thing I want you to do is come down here and help me fix my front door. And of course he was like, yeah, that's great, yeah, I'll do that. He said, he goes, yeah, sure. So sometime between now and maybe next week, he'll come down. Like he said, he has to look at the door and stuff like that, because basically the floor plates, here's your front door, here's your door plate. My door plate's somewhat fine. The door behind it, because I have no screen door, which that's one of my projects to do here soon, is get a new screen door for the front of it, and put gutters across the top of this, because on my old porch, before I put not my newest one, but my second newest one on, it rotted out the floor part of it, and there was all kinds of decay, and I'm still having problems with when you open the door up and you step there, it's kind of soft. So we're going to tear out that section of the floor, replace the flooring, and hopefully replace as much of it as possible, make it more stronger and sound, and then put a screen door up. And so hopefully everything, fingers crossed, goes as planned. And of course my wife was I was in the bedroom this afternoon, and she asked me, she goes, what do you want for your birthday? And she goes, I don't want to hear for a long time. I would never say what I wanted for my birthday, and I'll just go out and actually just buy it myself. Well, she's like, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, honestly and truthfully, I said, if you was to, well, actually not you was to, that's the only thing I really want is tear off the back porch and put a new one on the way I want it. That's all I want. I'll be tickled pink with it. Because then after that, after you tear the old one off and replace it, we can use it for some of our extra storage that we don't have room for in the house, like tote wise, stuff like that. I am going to get a cabinet eventually put out there and stick like my crafting things in it, like my candle stuff, my wax, stuff like that. I am going to put a bed on the back porch. Well, it's not going to be a porch. It's going to be like a sunroom kind of thing, but it's not really a sunroom. It's going to be like a mud room. And if you don't know what a mud room is, basically when you come outside, you take your shoes off in there and you walk across it before you go in the house. The only thing different is, for shits and giggles, is I got dry skin on my lip bugging me. Is when I was a kid a long time ago, my great-grandparents up in Louisville, they had this one part of their house, and they had that plastic kind of turkey grass, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and that's what I want to put on the back porch. Well, the back room is I want to cover from wall to wall, end to end, and nothing but that plastic kind of turkey kind of grass, and have it all the way across the thing, and that's what I want. I know it sounds crazy, I mean, most people be like, I'm gonna put tile down, or I'm gonna put some kind of a carpet down or something. No, I just want that plastic looking turkey looking grass, and I'd be tickled pink. And of course, once the room is, once it gets closer to being done, I'll go out and I'll get me a full-size metal bed, and I have a Springer frame back here. I'm gonna put the bed on the back porch with the mattress on it, and if worse comes to shove, I'll take the one on my bed and put it on the back porch, and we'll go buy ourselves a new mattress and put it on our bed, and just do it that way. But yeah, I mean, and then on top of it, here's another thing. It's gonna sound crazy. I thought about doing this as well after getting that back porch done, is adding on to this porch again this summer, but basically bringing it out this way, and that way where I'm sitting at now that I don't mind, because that's a muscle car and muscle truck, one and two. But we can use this porch piece here for the pool, have a drop down a little bit, and have it going out this way, and I can put the picnic table and the grill on that end, and therefore we can have all three things at one time and be hunky-dory. And I'm crazy enough to do it this summer, so there's no telling what might take place. Yep. So, but, and as well, if it's once that back porch is done, where I'm gonna get the lumber and stuff, and we're gonna start working on the smokehouse. But the smokehouse will be done before August. I don't care if I have to sell half my crap to get it done. I'll do it, because in my head I've made a promise to myself that I'm gonna have a smokehouse this year. The porch is gonna be done the way we want it, and the back porch is gonna be fixed along with the bathroom. Now, probably it won't be this weekend, it'll be next weekend. I will go and get the bathtub so we can put it up here on the porch, so that way Adam has time. He can come out and rip out the old bathtub, I can help him fix the flooring, put the new bathtub in, and you know, bathroom will be done next weekend hopefully, or a weekend after next. You know, but yeah, this, you know, my whole plan for this year was improve the house, fix part of the house, and have as much family time as possible. And that's what I'm sticking to in my head. And I also told the wife that I was going to clean up the yard, you know, as much as I could, and you know, make it more, you know, cleanly, I guess you call it. Because yeah, my place looks like Jethro Clampett outside. I mean, I got shit piled up, and I got stuff piled up here and there. And I joked with the guy across the street the other day. I said, yeah, people, you know, I said, if somebody was to come down the roadway and look at my yard, they're like, well, I won't break in that place because his place looks like a pigsty outside. And I said, but you go inside, it's you know, it's cleaner than a hospital on the inside, but you know, on the outside looks like crap. And I said, but the guy across the street, you know, the other side across the street from his yard, you know, his pristine, looks like a golf course, it's pretty and everything. So I'm, you know, like I told them, I said, you know, they see his yard, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna break in that guy's place. You see my place, like, no, he ain't got nothing to break into for. So that's why I do it. And but you know, for the longest time, of course, I recycled all kinds of things as well. So I mean, that's when my yard looks kind of dumpy. But I'm working on cleaning it up, because I told the wife I promised her I would, you know, make it look more presentable and everything else. So that's like my little goal, I guess you call it. But sometime this month, like I said, it won't be this weekend. It might be next week, or you know, some of that time frame. I am gonna call both my nephews. I'm gonna get a hold of my father-in-law, and we're gonna start tearing off that back porch so we can get everything kind of assayed and, you know, looked at and, you know, figured out and everything else. What I need to get and how to build it, you know, everything else. Because yeah, that back porch is gonna be done before anything else. So well, I wouldn't say done. It'll be like an 80% lowered. You know, the back area, it'll be about 80% done before I move on to something else. Because at least if it's 80% done, you know, it won't be that much of an issue to go back and, you know, fix things and everything else. So that's my goal and plan, and so that's about it. So I think I've talked enough. I bored y'all probably some, so I apologize if I did. But I'm gonna get off here, because by looking at the sun in the sky where it's sitting at, it's about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and yeah, I'm gonna start digging my holes for my tomato plants, put them in the ground, because it's supposed to sprinkle rain tomorrow and part of Saturday. So I want to, you know, at least they're in the ground with some nutrient and everything else. They'll grow better than sitting in these little container pots and getting all nice and dry. So I'm gonna quit talking. Keep your nose clean, your powder dry, keep it easy, keep it sleazy. Got to do what you got to do, but keep it between the white lines and not in the ditch. So I'll see you later.